I think that, like kind of what I was saying before, the growth that took place in the 3 years since Injustice for All is the biggest step, you know, the biggest development, noticeable development that we have made. In those 3 years, you know, we played 250, 260 shows all over the world. We read, you know, a lot of different books. We saw movies. We met a lot of people. We learned a lot of things, you know, about music and everything else, about life and growing up and, you know, maturing as people, right? Realizing a lot of things. I think all these factors have a lot to do with the music that came out this time. Many of the old influences were brought back. James Hetfield listening to Allman Brothers and Lynyrd Skynyrd and things like that. Those old influences coming through subconsciously, finger-picking nylon string guitar, you know, things like this. My heavy blues and R&B soul influence coming through a lot more in the bass playing, concentrating on being a bass player and laying down that line. Kirk with his listening to different operas and different classical things, plus his weird sideways bands that are, you know, starting to get recognition, like Nirvana and different, you know, like hybrid type bands. And that's where his influences come. And then Lars going back to listening to the roots of AC/DC and simple backbone drumming. Those things all came into play here. And so I think that what you're saying about it would be hard for people to just kind of all of a sudden grab onto that and grab onto what we have in our past and what we or people have learned in the past 3 years. You know, they can't just like all of a sudden they have what we have, what we've learned and what we feel inside. You know, this is the most moody record that we've had, and it's just not something that's easy to copy. I mean, it's not just like banging out Whiplash or something. It's very much different.
I think by not having an opening act, I think we want to make it even more special what we're doing, and obviously I don't need to sit and tell you because everybody else has, I'm sure, about how, you know, the economy in America is very bad and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I just think that you should give the kids value for their money. I've always believed in that. And that when there's no opening act, that it should be still a long evening and it should be the same, at least length of evening that they would get if there was an opening act. So we play usually every night between 2 hours and 40 minutes. We have this 25-minute Metallica movie, and I think all around it is as much as you can expect from one band. You know, we were even at one point we thought maybe we were even playing too long because we thought maybe a couple times we would lose the kids a little bit. But I asked the fans afterwards, do you think that's too long? And they always say, no, it's never long enough, and so on. So I don't think there's any direct pressures by not having an opening act, but I've always believed, even when we had an opening act on the Justice Tour, we would still play 2 hours and 15, 2 hours and 20. I always believed in you know, when I grew up and I used to go see bands like Iron Maiden and stuff like that, they'll always give kids just a really long, I don't know, there was always something that you felt that you would, you know, when bands kept coming back and doing encores and kept playing songs and stuff like that. And I remember when I was growing up, when I would go see certain bands, and after an hour and 15 or something like that, they would just walk out and say, oh, good night. You know, some nights when Rainbow, Richard Blackmore was in a bad mood or something, after, you know, 75 minutes, good night, you know, it's like, huh? You know, and I just, some of those British bands like Iron Maiden and so on really, to me, this thing about giving value for money and so on, and I guess that just kind of rubbed off on me. So I think that just by not having an opening act, at least we're trying to make it as long an evening as hopefully and as entertaining an evening as possible.
I think just the way that the set is designed this time is very dynamic with all the new songs that we have to offer. And I think that one is just kind of, I mean, that's very much a stronghold. It's probably the, you know, next to Enter Sandman, it's the biggest single that Metallica's ever had, and just kind of the song that Metallica is known for. I think we're showing that maybe saving the best till last, and showing that we still have, after playing 2.5 hours, we still have the strength and the stamina to play something that demands that much musicianship that far into the show. Many things. We know that everybody's waiting for it. There's a lot of different reasons. They could move around in the set as the tour develops, but right now that's just where we felt, as far as the dynamics are concerned, that was the place to put it. It's like, you end with something like that, and then it's just everybody's breath is taken away, and so it's kind of just a last minute thing like that.
Well, it's only just now, because we've just been playing The Unforgiven for about 3 or 4 weeks now, that I actually feel so comfortable playing the song that I can actually look out into the audience, because it was a very difficult song for us to feel comfortable playing live. And I think the first couple of weeks we weren't really paying too much attention to what was going on out in the crowd, because we were too busy trying to make sure that we were playing it properly ourselves. But I feel fine about it. I mean, it's the next step. I think a lot of people are just opening up to Metallica now that have never really opened up to Metallica, and it's, as you're saying now in America, there's a lot more younger girls and so on, and I mean, what can I say? It's okay. I mean, it's fine. I think if you have a song like The Unforgiven that somebody hears on the radio or sees on MTV or whatever, and they go, oh, that's actually okay, maybe Metallica. See, the thing about Metallica is that I think, especially in America, that a lot of people had a lot of misconceptions about Metallica. People that had never really heard Metallica or given Metallica a chance had already made up their minds about what Metallica was all about. And I think that now, with songs like Enter Sandman and The Unforgiven and Nothing Else Matters, which will be next, I think a lot of people will realize that maybe the ideas and thought that they had about Metallica were maybe wrong, and maybe that they are willing to give Metallica a chance on Metallica's terms, which is listen to the music and hear these songs. So if somebody hears a song like The Unforgiven on the radio or MTV and goes, that's a lot different than I thought what Metallica was all about, maybe I'll go out and buy the record and listen to the record, and then listen to the record. If a song like The Unforgiven is the window to the rest of what Metallica is all about, then that's okay with me, because, as you know, more so in America than anywhere else, but we have been hit with a lot of labels in America, and there's just a lot of people in America that already think they know everything about Metallica, and then realize when they hear a song like The Unforgiven or Enter Sandman or whatever that they were wrong, and then maybe Metallica does have something that they like. And so it's something that I kind of take great pleasure in when somebody comes up to me and says, I really never thought that I would ever like you, but then I hear a song like Enter Sandman and The Unforgiven, and you guys are actually really good. I love that, because it's like, it just proves what I've been saying all along, which is that sooner or later everybody will hopefully open up to Metallica on Metallica's terms and give Metallica a chance the way we want to, which is listen to our music. Everybody will look at a picture of us or read about us in an article, or the band name or the name of the album is Kill 'Em All or something like that, and they go, oh, Metallica, that's not for me, without actually hearing the music. And now more and more people every day are getting exposed to Metallica music and realizing that, wait a minute, maybe I was wrong, and so it's okay. It's okay that there's a lot more girls coming to gigs. Hey, everybody's welcome.
Well, when you have a 2-hour and 40-minute show, well, I mean, including the opening video and all that, it's like 3 hours long. You need to kind of get things going back and forth. I mean, we've always liked having, audience participation, of course, but to keep them awake, basically, through the set.
Well, I think at this point in time, with the recession going and our economy not doing very well, the kids are going to be a lot more choosy with who they choose to buy albums and with who they choose to buy concert tickets to. I mean, they're not gonna go out and go to every show that rolls into town. They're gonna save their money for the bands they want to see. And I think as a result of that, I mean, a lot of the people who have been coming to our concerts have been saving their money to see us, knowing that we'd be on tour. And I think we're just one of the bands that people want to see. They're willing to save their money and wait to see us, which is very flattering. And there's actually only 2 other rock tours out right now, 2 or 3. There's Van Halen, Rush, and Rod Stewart, and those are the only other ones that are actually making it from town to town without being canceled because of lack of ticket sales.
Well, there are new fans, older and younger, I think. And of course, with the popularity of the new album, you have a lot more, newer fans that don't know a lot of the older stuff. And that's one reason we have this kind of intro film type thing to show the history of the band and, who's Cliff Burton, they don't know, so now they know. And it's kind of like it's like starting over almost again, trying to introduce these new fans to the way Metallica works. And we're not just some regular Joe rock band, there's some deep thought into this thing. And it's important for us for them to know all this stuff. So they're learning,
No, not at all. I mean, if it bothered us, we wouldn't let them do it. Not at all. I mean, there's such a small percentage of people who do that anyway. It's not gonna hurt our album sales at all, and it's not gonna affect our video sales or anything like that. It kind of keeps the underground tape thing going for us, And that underground tape thing was something that helped us out a lot, way back in the beginning of our career. So this is kind of our way of saying thanks. And this way, we're also flooding out the bootleg market. Kids won't have to dish out $40 anymore for a bootleg. They can just call someone from that town who they knew tape the show and just get the tape from that person, and it's kind of a fun thing. I like it.
Well, we're out touring on the Don't Tread on Us or whatever it's called tour. I don't know what it's called. We're playing stuff from the new album because that's what we just recorded. And I agree that I don't like bands that go out and do only the new album, and not playing the old stuff. I mean, that's no good. We just tried to find a nice balance of old favorites of ours and theirs, and with some of the new favorites of ours. We're doing, how many new songs are we doing? 5? We're doing 5 or 6. And we're playing 20-something songs, It's I think it's a pretty good, yeah.
What do I do? I usually, I rent a limo and get some of my best friends. We all pile into a limo, and we go to a lot of parties that are happening around San Francisco, because I have a lot of friends who like to throw parties. And we just, and if there's any gigs in San Francisco, we'll try and go to those too, and we'll just try and make as many parties and gigs as possible one night. And in the process, me and my girlfriend like to drink a lot of champagne at night, so we drink champagne, just have a really good time. That's basically what I did last time.
Drink a little bit. Yeah. Either go out and see other bands or we're playing. I don't know when the last time we played a New Year's Eve show was. I think it was in San Francisco. It was us, I think it was Megadeth and maybe Anthrax? No, Exodus, a couple other bands. I don't think we've played a New Year's for quite a long time. It always seems to happen around New Year's that Leonard Skinner is back home in San Francisco. So it's always, yeah, get to go see that. But yeah, we'll be in Tokyo this time. It'll be fun.
まあ今回のライブの中にはさっきカー君が言ってましたけど、テーパーズキャンプってとこがあるんですよ。サウンドボードの横のところにこう柵を作って、そこの中にやっぱり100人か150人を招待するんですけども、先着、こいつらはですね、そのライブを勝手に8ミリで撮ってもいいし、その音をカセットで撮ってもいいという、今までのロックバンドでやったことのない逆説的な方法でそのビデオとか8ミリを撮らせてるんですね。これはマネージャーの意見だったらしいんですけども、そういうことでブートレック産業を叩き潰そうということも考えたらしいんですけども、果たして92年の9月か10月に実現する、メタリカのヘッドライナーショーでスネークピットとこのテーパーズキャンプが日本でも実現するかどうかですけどもね、それについてはちょっとわからないんですけども、さてメタリカの4人のメンバーがビッグエッグに皆さん行くでしょう。そういうファンにメッセージをくれました。
Hope to see you guys at the Big Egg, and I hope you guys have a very wonderful Christmas, and we'll all be sharing New Year's Eve together.
Hi, fans. Well, like I have said a couple times in the last couple of years to you guys in Japan, that I always wanted to do 2 visits to Japan on one album. So finally that is coming true. We're going to see all you guys hopefully down December 31st at the Tokyo Dome, which will be more of a festival kind of setup with a few other bands. And then we will try and bring this huge elaborate US stage show over to Japan for a full tour sometime probably towards, I'd say, September or October of 1992, which is a ways away, I know that now, but we have a lot of touring we have to do in other parts of the world, and we'll be there New Year's Eve, so we'll come for a full Japanese tour probably September, October of 1992. In the meanwhile, we'll see you at down at the Tokyo Dome. Take care.
We're pretty excited about doing it too, to be very honest with you. It's been a long time since Metallica was in Japan, and I always say in interviews, whether it doesn't matter what country I'm in, and somebody asks me my favorite places to play, it's California and Michigan in the United States and Japan. Japan will always be special to me personally because I was in Metallica for 11 days and started touring Japan. It was the first place that I ever played with Metallica. I was always have a very special place for me. So that any time that I hear about we're going to Japan, I'm fired up, and I know that how the fans are and how appreciative they are towards Metallica, and I'm always excited to see the growth that's happening over there as far as Metallica. I see it everywhere else we've been in America, and the album's selling more and more, and Metallica big, and I'm really excited to see where we are in Japan now, and to see the faces and hear the screams and stuff. It's just always a good feeling to be there for me, and playing the biggest place, that you can play there. It was an honor to begin with to be asked to do it, that's right up here, just because we're just doing the one thing, just flying over there and doing that show and coming back home, it's a very special thing. So it really does mean a lot to us, and I think that, I know the kids won't be disappointed. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Hey, we're going to be in Tokyo pretty soon, so we'll see you at the show, and be plenty drunk, as we will. See you at Tokyo Dome.
We're basically doing what we feel is Metallica, and we're not catering to anyone but ourselves. There's certain songs that are serious that you have to really conquer down, and this is it, and then there's other songs, if you screw up, you can, let's start it over, kind of, we want to try and get moods happening in the set, and we're the type of band where you actually just can't really take another song and put it in here, or, just kind of, what song are we going to play next? Let's just do this, it doesn't work. We kind of really have it worked out to how things flow really nice in the set, and, there's certain times where you need a little humor here and there, and some things just happen, But, we're serious about playing our music, live is what we love doing, and that's what it's all about for us.
Metallica was always the strength was always built on the live show and the speed and the anger and the aggression. And I think now that still remains. The four people in Metallica haven't changed as far as just going, like being mellowing out or whatever. It's still there. You'll see that Metallica plays Whiplash faster than it ever has. And can play, say, Battery back to back with The Unforgiven, and did it with equal strength and equal effectiveness. I think it's just that we have so much more to offer than just the speed.
You can feel it because a lot of these newer fans aren't used to our older fans too. Our older fans go crazy, and like these newer fans aren't as crazy, and they kind of see older fans going nuts, and they're kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? What's wrong with this person? But little do they know that it's like that everywhere with our older fans, and a lot of times when we play the new material, a lot more people sing it too. Like The Unforgiven. The whole place is singing when we play that song. It's great.
I just like the fact that you go see a Metallica show and it's 3 hours long and it's something that entertains you. I think in the last couple of years, especially in the American press, Metallica has been come across as a very serious band all the time, and very serious lyrically and serious musicians and all this. And I like the fact that people see that there are other sides to us. I think over the course of this new show that we're playing, I think all those different sides of Metallica finally come across, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Thank you.
I always say in interviews, whether it doesn't matter what country I'm in, and somebody asks me my favorite places to play, it's, California and Michigan in the United States and Japan. Japan will always be special to me personally because I was in Metallica for 11 days and started touring Japan. It was the first place that I ever played with Metallica. I was, always have a very special place for me. So that any time that I hear about we're going to Japan, I'm proud, and I know that how the fans are and how appreciative they are towards Metallica, and I'm always excited to see the growth that's happening over there as far as, Metallica. I see it everywhere else we've been in America, and the album's selling more and more, and Metallica big, and I'm really excited to see where we are in Japan now, and to see the faces and hear the screams and stuff. It's just always a good feeling to be there for me. And playing the biggest place, that you can play there. So it was an honor to begin with to be asked to do it, and that's right up here, just because we're just doing the one thing, just flying over there and doing that show and coming back home. It's a very special thing. So it really does mean a lot to us, and I think that, I know the kids won't be disappointed. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Well, like I had said a couple times in the last couple of years to you guys in Japan, that I always wanted to do 2 visits to Japan on one album. So finally that is coming true. We're going to see all you guys hopefully down December 31st at the Tokyo Dome, which will be more of a festival kind of setup with a few other bands. And then we will try and bring this huge elaborate U.S. stage show over to Japan for a full tour sometime probably towards, I'd say, September or October of 1992, which is a ways away, I know that now, but we have a lot of touring we have to do in other parts of the world, and we'll be there New Year's Eve, so we'll come for a full Japanese tour probably September, October of 1992. In the meanwhile, we'll see you down at the Tokyo Dome. Take care.
Hope to see you guys at the Big Egg, and I hope you guys have a very wonderful Christmas, and we'll all be sharing New Year's Eve together.
Hey, we're going to be in Tokyo pretty soon, so we'll see you at the show and be plenty drunk, as we will. See you at Tokyo.
実は僕今年40になるんだけど、だけど俺はいまだにメタリカが好きだし、いろんなメタルの好きなのね。やっぱりその40になってもメタリカというバンドを通じて表現できるものってやっぱあるというふうに当然思ってるわけですよね。
I don't know. I mean, to me, the next record is still
so far away. We have 3-4 months to go of touring. Then we're going to take about a year off. Then we're going to sit down and think about the next record. So even thinking about what we're going to do in 1994, I don't know. So it's like, what am I going to think and do, and how am I going to feel, and what am I going to express, and what am I going to convey to people when I'm 40 years old? I have no idea. But the one thing I can tell you is that I'm sure that it will be exactly what I feel at that time. Now, the four of us go more and more in our own different directions and feel more comfortable with that. And I think that strengthens the band, that you have 4 guys who really are different from each other and don't pretend that we're not different from each other. And as time goes by, we don't grow further apart. That's very important, that people understand that we don't grow further apart, but we become more and more different from each other. But what holds us together, which is Metallica, becomes stronger and stronger. And I really feel, the last couple of days, like yesterday, we came in to Narita, and we came here, it was about 3 o'clock. The 4 of us went out, had a meal together, just the 4 of us. We had some drinks together, and there was really, I don't know, it was really solid, in a great way. And so I think that you'll find over the course of, say, in 10 years from now, me and James will be even more different from each other than we are today. But Metallica will hopefully be as strong as it is today. And Kirk and, everybody just kind of roams around in their own spaces more and more. But it really is amazing, because I look to all these other bands in the last couple of years that have gone through losing members and breakups and so on. And I really feel that that's not going to happen to us. Knock on wood.
ただね、俺は次のアルバムについてね、一つだけ分かってることがあると思うんだよ。それはあなたたちはこのアルバムを超えるものを作らなきゃいけないと。それだけは分かってるんじゃないかと思うんです。どうですか？
That I'll think it's better, because I won't walk out of the studio till I think it's better than the last one. But better is such a relative term, because, what exactly does that mean? But I'm sure that it, I'm sure that I'm not so much worried about the songs. I think, songs to us always come very instinctively, very naturally. When me and James sit down to write, it happens. So I'm not so much worried about that. The one thing that does scare me a little bit is that I think that there was such a hunger and such a desire and such a wanting to make this record what it was, that we spent so much time and energy in those 10 months making this record and making it sound this way and putting so much sweat and blood into it, that will we be able to commit ourselves to spending 10 months in the studio and really making a record that sounds so good again? I don't know, because making a record that sounds, I still think it's the best sounding heavy rock album pretty much ever. I'm sorry. but to get it to sound that good, you really have to spend so much time and go over things, with such a fine, with such a fine eye, and I just don't know if we have the patience to do that again. But we'll see. I'll let you know first. Okay?